Hello and welcome to the Nerdly Review, an entertainment show about all things nerdly. I'm your host, Stephen Davis. Recently, the San Diego Comic-Con wrapped up, and a lot of the major nerdly announcements usually happen this same time this year. This year was no exception. We had the AntMan test footage previewed by Edgar Wright. We had footage from Iron Man 3. We got to see a teaser trailer for Zack Snyder's Superman, or Man of Steel. And a movie called Elysium, which we had only seen a couple of photos up until this point. They actually previewed 7 minutes of footage from it. So that's all really exciting. One of the biggest things that happened at San Diego Comic-Con was Marvel's Phase 2. If you're not familiar with what that is, Phase 1 was all the Marvel movies, not like X-Men or Spider-Man, but the ones actually produced by Marvel that led up to the Avengers movie. They included Iron Man, Iron Man 2, The Incredible Hulk, Thor, Captain America First Avenger, and of course Avengers. That was all Phase 1. Now Phase 2 is going to be all the movies leading up to Avengers 2. And we got the titles for all the movies that will be leading up to it. Phase 2 is going to start with Iron Man 3. This movie has its official logo released. We also got to see the armor that Iron Man's going to be using in the movie. It's alright, I'm not a huge fan of it. But they did confirm that Ben Kingsley, who was already confirmed to star in it, is going to be playing the Mandarin, which is one of Iron Man's biggest villains. It's set to come out on May 3rd, 2013. The next movie in Phase 2 is going to be Thor Dark World. Now, there's no specific world that is Dark World. There's no storyline that I could find that it's specifically referencing to. But I assume Dark World is referring to another one of the realms besides Asgard. I'm assuming that where the Dark Elves come from, Dark World, Dark Elves, a lot of major villains come from there, so maybe that's where it's set, but we'll have to see. Comes out November 8th, 2013. The next movie to come out is Captain America Winter Soldier. This is an obvious reference to Bucky, Captain America's sidekick, who comes back and is brainwashed and turned into a cyborg known as the Winter Soldier. So this is an obvious reference to what the plot's going to be about for the second one. But how they're going to do it, we'll have to see. It comes out April 4th, 2014. The next one in the lineup is a little bit tricky. It's called Guardians of the Galaxy. It's supposedly a fan favorite. I've never read it. But it's set in the 31st century. So I'm not entirely sure how they would tie this movie into the rest of the Marvel Universe that they have. In the comics, there was some time travel stuff going on. So maybe that might happen. But basically, they're a group of superheroes that defend the galaxy. And they're all from different planets. It sounds pretty cool, but I don't know how they're going to tie it in. It comes out August 1st, 2014. The last movie in Phase 2 is Ant-Man. Now, he's a pretty big character in the Avenger comics, so this is kind of exciting. He's going to be another guy that's going to be added to the roster when Avengers 2 comes around. So that'll be really cool. They previewed some test footage, but they haven't actually casted whoever Ant-Man is, and they don't even have a release date for it. But the guy who did Hot Fuzz, Shaun of the Dead, and Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, Edgar Wright, is going to be directing the movie, so it's probably going to be pretty awesome. The last bit of Comic-Con news that I want to talk about is completely unrelated to Marvel. Neil Gaiman made a video announcing that he is going to be doing a story about the Sandman dream from the Sandman Chronicles. For those of you who haven't read it, it's a phenomenal series. I highly recommend reading them. Apparently, within the comic books, he referenced a story that he had basically told in his head, but he never actually got a chance to tell it in the comics that they released in the 80s/90s. So he's going to now do it next year, which is the 25th anniversary of the first comic. And it's sort of a prequel, but sort of not. We'll see, but whatever it's going to be, I'm sure it's going to be awesome because Neil Gaiman is super sweet. Well, that's all for this week. As usual, you can follow us on Twitter and Facebook. Links to all the stuff that I was talking about are down in the doobly-doo. And as usual, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next week.